Hey Bengals, it's Jamie Webster from the College of Education. We are so excited to see so many new and returning faces here on campus. I hope that your semester has been off to a great start so far. This week, we're touching base with all of our new faculty and staff here in the College of Education. The team and I got to sit down and interview them, and let's introduce you to them.
Hello, my name is Guillermo Ortega and I'm assistant professor here at Idaho State University in the College of Education, where I focus on higher education.
My name is Isabel Stakis and I am a Human Performance and Sports Studies professor here in the Human Performance and Sports Studies department.
Well, my name is Elaine Foster, working in the Human Performance and Sports Studies department at ISU here, and working as a clinical instructor for the department.
I am Tabitha Butler and I am the Director of Development for the College of Education and the Idaho Natural History Museum on campus.
My name's Ajit Bhattarai, so the last name is kind of a tongue twister. I recently joined as an assistant professor here in ISU in the Department of Organized Learning and Performance. So I'll be teaching both undergrad and the graduate students here in ISU.
Yeah, my name is Jeff Thomas. I'm an assistant professor here in the College of Education, specifically working with K-12 educational leadership.
What made me come to Idaho State University was the faculty, department, students, and their amazing athletic department.
I really enjoyed the graduate program that I did, which was Human Performance and Sports Studies. I really enjoyed sports and learning more about sports, and when I got the opportunity to come to Pocatello, I had to take it.
Well, you know, ISU is kind of like home to me. I did my undergraduate and master's degree here, and I've worked in this department before for a number of years. And, you know, my family's from this area and whatnot, so coming to ISU, it's just a great community. And so when I had an opportunity to take this position, I mean, you can't turn that down. So it's a great place to be.
Well, I'm a proud Bengal. I have 2 graduate degrees from Idaho State, and then my oldest son also received his doctorate from Idaho State. So I've been a long time a proud Bengal admirer of the institution, and so I felt really fortunate to be a part of it.
You know, I'm an alumni. I graduated with my bachelor's in 2009 from the College of Arts and Letters with a history degree. And I loved ISU for that reason, but really what brought me back was Kevin Satterlee. I really appreciate the vision that he has for Idaho State University, and I wanted to come back home, be back in southeastern Idaho, which I love, and be able to push that mission forward and get a lot more people excited about ISU.
But it was everything that I desired, an opportunity to teach in an area that I'm passionate about, and having an opportunity coming in, living in the city that just looks like my old hometown.
My area of research is actually higher education, and what I do with that is I specifically look at students, faculty and administrators' outcomes. With that, I look at the institutional identity, looking if it's a community college, looking if it's a 4-year, if it's public or private. I also look at how athletics impacted, if it's a Division 1, 2, or 3 school. And then I also look at the student characteristics, which is if they are first generation, students of color, gender, all those type of things is what I look at to predict success for faculty and students.
My background is in psychology and writing. That's what I got my undergraduate in. So not super sports-based, but I was a student athlete. And so I kind of have a little bit of that sports background. And so now that I'm in the Human Performance and Sports Studies department, I'm doing more of what I love, which is sports.
Yeah, well, when I did my master's degree, my main focus was with promoting physical activity and sport among girls and women. And that's still a very important interest of mine. Since doing my doctoral degree, I kind of have expanded that a little bit to focus more on the value and meaningfulness of physical activity and sport in our lives in general. So it's kind of where I focus my efforts.
So I have a bachelor's in history and a master's of applied historical research. And I started working out in historical museums, which also need fundraising, and have really just my career as it's changed over the years. I've always come back to that research that I've learned how to do. I've had several employers tell me that that's the reason they hired me, is because I was really good at research, and it's benefited me in every single job I've had throughout my career and up until fundraising today, to research everything that's available out there to us.
Yeah, research focuses both on the philosophical and practical dimensions of training and development, and the broader adult learning field.
Well, I'm focusing on school, K-12 school-based leadership, so the principalship, the superintendency. My passion is school boards, working with superintendents working with school boards and communities, superintendent turnover, longevity, that type of thing.
One is the literature in human resources, and the other subject, the other topic is a new class that we're trying to develop here with the support of my colleague in the department. It's called Critical Human Resource Development.
This semester I'm focusing in on methods of physical education, senior capstone class, and then also our foundations class, which focuses on history and philosophy and ethics and kind of career exploration and things like that.
I'm going to be teaching sports law, intro to sports law, organization and administration in physical education, and tests and measurements in physical education.
Oh, right now I am teaching assessment and evaluation, and I'm also teaching a doctoral capstone course.
I've taught school law, school finance, organization staff development, change strategies, the superintendency, all types of K-12 administration courses.
Well, I am pretty good at cooking and baking.
I am fluent in Spanish, and from birth, my first language, but I'm also a little fluent in French.
I think I'm a pretty good cook in the food that people in my community generally like. So when I cook, people say they think that they're back in Nepal. So I guess I'm a pretty good cook. I'm not sure if I'm a good cook or not, but people just compliment. People say that they like the food that I cook.
I'm a karaoke queen. I love karaoke. I love to sing No Doubt, Don't Speak, and I love to sing Alicia Keys' Fallen.
Right. I had a colossal failure in 2002. I tried for a school bond in Rexburg, and it went down. We got about 54% of the vote, and it required about 67% in order to pass. And so there are many lessons learned from that bond failure. But since then, we passed 4 bonds and 4 levies, and so I learned from it.
So my first job out of graduate school was being director of the Bannock County Historical Museum here in town. And my first attempt at fundraising was a failure. We lost money. We sold historic calendars as a fundraiser, and I ordered way too many calendars. And that was my first experience, and had I just let that first failure define my experience with fundraising, I wouldn't be doing what I do now, which is what I love, connecting with alumni, connecting with donors, and finding donors who are really passionate about causes that they can support at Idaho State University.
Absolutely. You know, I have a athletic background playing soccer in college, so I think it was always understanding that you're not going to win every game, you're going to fail, but like you have to look at it in the sense that our coach would tell us, you know, always aim for perfection, but there's no such thing as perfection, so you're constantly getting better. And then when you lose a game, you know, it's just a time to reflect and evaluate how are you going to come back stronger, faster, and better.
Yeah, I guess when I was in school, till high school, so I was miserable in languages. Although I speak a bunch of languages, so I was horrible in both English and even in my mother tongue, in the literature side of things. But and sometimes it would be downright scary, the kind of grades that I would get. So if I had not overcome that barrier with all-around support and with me being just sticking to it, I would not happen. I don't think I would ever completed my high school or even my college days. So those were some big challenges early on.
Am an advocate of Every Little Thing and Science Versus. Those are my go-to podcasts usually, and then a number of others, but those are the two I mainly listen, or I consistently listen to. Ted Lasso right now is amazing, and I've also started watching Alone. I'm trying to catch up on all of those seasons, so that's fun. And I just finished reading a book by Andy Weir called Hail Mary. It's his latest sci-fi book. So.
This is Pop, is what I'm watching on Netflix because it's kind of the history of music and I love anything history. And I'm also currently listening on Audible to A Team of Rivals, which is really good.
Yeah, a lot of interesting reading. I don't watch a lot of podcasts or TV or Netflix or anything like that, but I am a passionate reader, voracious reader. I've been reading Lost to the West. It's the story of the Byzantine Empire. I'm reading a 3,000-year history of the history of Christianity. I've been finishing a number of biographies. I just finished one on General Eisenhower. So I've been doing quite a bit of reading.
So I'm definitely a podcast person. I'm a true crime podcast person. So I love podcasts like Morbid, Radio Rental is really good, and then as far as like streaming, I love The Wilds on Amazon Prime, Outer Banks, those kind of shows. I think I would have to say The Circle. I don't know if anybody knows about The Circle, but I probably would not go on as myself. I would kind of catfish, maybe like it's the Queen of England or something.
This was an easy one to answer. I would go on Making It, just because I'd be able to hang out with Amy Poehler and Nick Offerman.
I'll go for Man vs. Wild because I really like adventures. So, I just want to see if I'll make it out alive.
I guess not for the money's sake, but I'd love to go and become a participant in Who Wants to Be a Millionaire or a version of that, because it just requires so much of preparation, and I love getting into trivia that nobody's least interested. So that would be a cool show to be, I guess.
A big item on my bucket list is to travel to New Zealand. So hopefully that will happen next year sometime. That's the hope, but that just depends on travel restrictions and things like that. But one day I will get to New Zealand.
An item on my bucket list is definitely to learn sign language, which I hope that I eventually cross off.
I've always wanted to ski, although I was born and raised in a very mountainous country, which has 8 of the highest mountains in the world. I've never skied. So when I'd applied to ISU and then I started looking, one of the first things that it just came to my mind, I need to go start skiing.
Yeah, I love to hike mountains. I love to climb mountains, and I've hiked all through the continental United States, and 2 years ago I hiked 4 mountains in South America in the lovely country of Chile. So my next goal is to hike either Kilimanjaro in Africa or Aconcagua in Argentina, and I'm constantly training for those. So hopefully within the next year or two be able to check those off the bucket list.
I think I could survive pretty long. I was an avid Walking Dead fan. I watched it so much, and so I feel like I at least know what not to do, so I think I could survive pretty long.
I feel like we're living in a zombie apocalypse right now, so I think I'm killing it. I'm doing really well. I got vaccinated, so I think I'm making headway.
That's a good question. It'll be until I run out of water and food, or my Nintendo Switch battery dies.
I think I can survive a long time because I know people that have extensive or access to extensive weaponry. Not necessarily myself, but I know people who they're well protected.
That's it for this week. I hope that you've enjoyed meeting our new faculty and staff. We are certainly appreciative of having them here in the College of Education. As always, don't forget to like, share, and comment. We are always happy to hear from you. Thanks so much and have a great week, Bengals.